It's a good idea to have the website load faster rather than have the website be flashy. As soon as the page load time surpasses 3 seconds, the bounce rate increases to 38%, and for pages that load in over 5 seconds, the bounce rate can be as high as 70%. Always prioritize mobile optimization, since the mobile first is what Google is doing for their indexing. Let's talk about some common SEO mistakes today. These are some critical on-page mistakes that you should avoid. Number one is keyword stuffing. It used to work in the 90s, but it doesn't work anymore. The second one is duplicate content. It can be duplicated on your own page, or it can be duplicated from some off-page website. So if you have copied some content from some other website, that will also count as duplicate content. The third mistake is ignoring mobile users. This is a big mistake since 70-80% of traffic is coming from mobile phones. So it makes sense to optimize for those first. And the fourth mistake is slow page speed. If you have a slow loading page on your website, your bounce rate will increase. And when the bounce rate increases, your Google rankings will decrease. So you should definitely pay attention that your pages load fast, and there's no pages that load slower than about 3 seconds. That should be your goal, aiming for that under 3 second load time on all of your pages. After that, when you go under 2 seconds, it doesn't help too much anymore. Let's dive a little bit deeper on mistake number one, keyword stuffing. The definition is overusing the keywords in content in attempt to manipulate search rankings and to manipulate Google. Let's talk about a little bit why keyword stuffing is so harmful. It also negatively impacts user experience, and when users are not happy with your website, they will bounce off, and that will also decrease your Google rankings when people are immediately bouncing off your website. Keyword stuffing can also lead to Google penalties. It might even lead to de-indexation. You should definitely avoid stuffing keywords. It goes without saying that keyword stuffing will reduce your content quality, and it signals to Google and to users that your website is of low quality, and it might trigger some spam penalties as mentioned earlier with Google and other search engines as well. So let's move on to how to avoid keyword stuffing. You should focus on creating natural, high-quality content. You should use keywords in context and use them sparingly. So you don't need to pay too much attention to having the keyword on your page a certain amount of times. Instead, focus on providing high-quality content to your users. You should definitely prioritize user intent over any keyword density. You should obviously have the keywords on your page, but you don't need to have them tens of times just to appease Google. You should also use related terms and LSA keywords instead of only using the main keyword. The goal here is to signal to search engines what your content is about without disrupting the flow of your writing or compromising its quality. So you should pay some attention to placing the keywords strategically throughout your content, but it should be in a way that feels organic to the reader and to Google index robots as well. LSI keywords are semantically related terms and phrases that search engines use to understand content context, and they help match user intent with appropriate content, and they improve a page's visibility, and they will also probably improve your Google rankings. So you should definitely use LSA keywords naturally on your page. So let's dive into the mistake number 2, duplicate content. The definition is substantial blocks of content that are identical or very similar across multiple pages or websites. So it can be on your own page or on your own website between different pages, or it might be that you have duplicate content on your website that is the same on some other website. Why duplicate content is problematic? It confuses search engines which page they should rank, and it also dilutes link equity and decreases the ranking potential of the original content. Duplicate content pages both compete for the same visitors. This applies for duplicate content on your own website. But if the duplicate content is on some other website, the original content will have a higher chance of ranking than your copied content. Also, duplicate content can lead to incorrect canonicalization, and this may cause inconsistencies in how your content is indexed and displayed. As a result of all of these, duplicate content may result in lower rankings, or Google might even ignore your content instead and might de-index when they don't understand which page they should focus on. Search engines might actually view that duplicate content is spammy, so they might view your website as a whole as spammy. So you should definitely try and not duplicate any content from other websites. And when you are doing content with AI, you should check that AI doesn't duplicate any substantial blocks of text from some other website. How can we address duplicate content? We should always use canonical tags to indicate preferred version. So we implement the canonical tag in the HTML code of duplicate pages. So this can be useful, for example, if you post a guest article on some other blog or on Medium, for example, you need to add a canonical tag to tell Google that which of the versions is the preferred one. You might also, if you notice that there's some duplicate content on your website, you might also implement a 301 redirect to redirect those duplicate pages to the preferred version. 301 redirect is a permanent redirect, and it sends users and search engines to your primary version. And it also passes a lot of the link equity or the backlink juice to your redirected page. And this also improves your user experience by avoiding that duplicate content. And obviously the first thing to do is creating that unique content. So making sure that you are producing unique content that is not copied from anywhere on the web. And you should pay attention to this, especially when you are producing some content with AI, since AI might copy some content from the web as is. You can also utilize some SEO tools like Google Search Console or Screaming Frog to monitor those duplicate content pages. And you should regularly or semi-regularly audit your website for any duplicate content to fix those issues by 301 redirecting or using the canonical tag instead. So let's dive into the mistake number 3, that is ignoring mobile users. So why is it so crucial to optimize for mobile nowadays? The mobile-first indexing is now the norm, and that means that Google will index your website and web pages with a mobile indexer. So your mobile version will be indexed. And also the majority of web traffic comes from mobile devices, as mentioned earlier. It's about 70 to 80% of traffic, depending on the website. And having a poor mobile experience will definitely lead to higher bounce rates. And as mentioned earlier, having a high bounce rate will definitely decrease your rankings on Google. According to statistics, at least 63% of Google searches occur on mobile devices in the US. So this highlights the fact that a lot of the traffic is also coming from the mobile devices. And starting July 5th, so a couple of weeks ago, Google has stopped indexing websites that are not accessible on mobile devices. Mobile first is basically mobile only right now, so you definitely need to have your website to be accessible on any mobile devices. How can we optimize for mobile? We definitely should implement responsive design, meaning using flexible grid layouts and CSS media queries. And we should ensure that content is easily readable on small screen sizes. So that means implementing a larger mobile-friendly font size. And we should definitely optimize images and media like videos for mobile. We should use adaptive images that load different sizes based on the screen size. In addition, we should test our website on various mobile devices, including both iOS and Android devices. And we can also use Google's mobile-friendly test tool. And we should always retest after we have made some changes. And we should try and make sure that we pass those mobile tests with all flying colors or green colors. And here's the mistake number 4. As mentioned earlier, it slows page speed. So why does page speed even matter? Nowadays, page speed is a ranking factor for both mobile and desktop. Having a good page speed score for desktop is getting easier. For mobile, it's a bit harder. But as mentioned earlier, mobile first indexing is a fact. So we should definitely pay more attention to having our websites properly optimized for mobile page speed as well. It does really affect the user experience if your website loads slower. So it's a good idea to have the website load faster rather than have the website be flashy. Also, page speed affects your crawl efficiency, meaning that Google loves pages that load fast, and that's why they will crawl fast-loading pages more often. They might, as a result, rank higher since they are crawled more often. Page speed is also a ranking factor. It's definitely a good idea to pay attention to page speed optimization. In addition to having a poor user experience, it probably will hurt your conversion rate as well if you have a slow loading page. The average bounce rate for pages loading within 2 seconds is only 9%. But as soon as the page load time surpasses 3 seconds, the bounce rate increases to 38%. And for pages that load in over 5 seconds, the bounce rate can be as high as 70%. So you should aim for that under 3 second page load time and never ever go over 5 seconds, because that will hugely impact your bounce rate. How can we improve page speed? Some of these are the same as mobile optimization tactics, but let's dive into it still. So we can optimize images and videos by using the correct size of images and also using the next gen formats like WebP for images or SVG for logos, for example. And we should definitely minimize and compress CSS, HTML, and JavaScript files when possible. And we can also implement code splitting for JavaScript. That is a more advanced topic, but it can help with your page speed when you are not loading your JavaScript when you don't need to load it. And we should also leverage browser caching, and that can be done by setting the appropriate cache control headers. And for some use cases, when your traffic is international and coming from many different countries, using a content delivery network or a CDN is a very good idea. And that helps with the content loading times and the page speed as well. For the backend, it's a good idea to reduce the server response time. That means that we should optimize database queries and use indexes, or we can also consider using a headless structure, so there is no touch point to the database. Here are some key takeaways to take into consideration when we are optimizing our web pages. So we should focus on creating natural, valuable content instead of keyword stuffing. We should also ensure that our content is unique and it is properly canonicalized. So if there's some guest blog posts, for example, you should definitely add a canonical tag to those and point them to the original blog post. And we should also have the canonical tag on all pages. For example, on your front page, you should have a self-canonical tag. So you should have the canonical tag be front page. And we should always prioritize mobile optimization, since the mobile first is what Google is doing for their indexing. We should also continuously work on improving page speed to improve our user experience and also our Google rankings. And here are some final tips and the notes before we sign off. Google considers page speed as a ranking factor, with pages loading in under 3 seconds, seeing 3 times higher search visibility than those taking 7+ seconds. So you should definitely make sure that your page speed is up to high standards and that your web pages load in under 3 seconds to increase your search visibility by a huge margin. And websites that focus on creating high quality, relevant content see 3 times more traffic from search than those that prioritize keyword optimization alone. So you should definitely focus on creating content that is valuable instead of trying to optimize for search only. So you should definitely focus on optimizing for users instead. But I think that's all. That's a good ending point here. So you should definitely focus on optimizing for users instead of optimizing for Google only. Thank you, and if you have any questions, shoot them in a DM or in the comments. Thank you.